side of the core vehicle. Each will burn for about 1 minute and 58 seconds before they drop away. Those four engines work in tandem with the core engine. That core engine also serves as the second stage and continues to burn until 4 minutes and 57 seconds into the flight. There you can see the escape tower being jettisoned before those four strap-on boosters fly away. Again, that core engine serves as the second stage. The shroud or the fairing at the very top is jettisoned and exposing the Soyuz vehicle to the vacuum of space. What you're seeing is the hot staging of the third stage fires just before the actual second stage is separated. The third stage has a single engine that will ignite just before that separation, helps it to push it away, and will burn for about 8 minutes, burn until 8 minutes 45 seconds into the flight. At that point, the Soyuz will be in its preliminary orbit. The Soyuz MS-11 spacecraft is scheduled to dock to the orbiting complex later today, after completing a fast-track 4-orbit rendezvous. The planned one-day rendezvous will culminate with a docking to the International Space Station Poisk module. This is at the space-facing side of the International Space Station. We're looking at a docking time at 11:36 a.m. Central Time this morning, 11:36 p.m. in Baikonur, where Russian and American dignitaries, guests, and family will be watching the events unfold from a hotel not far from the launch site in Kazakhstan.
This is Baikonur.
This, once again, is a live look at the launch pad right now atop the rocket, and within the Soyuz MS-11 spacecraft again are NASA's Anne McClain, David St. Jacques of the Canadian Space Agency, and Oleg Kononenko of Roscosmos, now under 16 minutes from launch. A little more about the Soyuz spacecraft. It's comprised of 3 modules, 23.5 feet long, and weighs 15,700 pounds. The descent module in the middle is situated in the middle of the Soyuz vehicle, contains customized seats for the crew members during launch, entry, and landing, and contains all of the controls and displays necessary for flight. It also contains life support systems, batteries for re-entry and landing, and the parachutes and soft landing rocket engines that slow the Soyuz down before touchdown when the Soyuz lands in Kazakhstan. There are 8 hydrogen peroxide thrusters located on the module that are used to control the spacecraft's orientation or attitude during the descent until parachute deployment. It also has guidance, navigation, and control system to maneuver the vehicle during the descent phase of the mission. This descent module weighs over 6,000 pounds with a habitable volume of 141 cubic feet. Approximately 110 pounds of payload can be returned to Earth in this module. The descent module is the only portion of those 3 that you saw earlier that survives the return to Earth. You're seeing the hatch open to the top portion. This is the orbital module. Connects the descent module via a pressurized hatch. It is where the crew has a small amount of room to move around during the flight to the International Space Station. It has a volume of 230 cubic feet with a docking mechanism hatch and rendezvous antenna located at the front end. The docking mechanism is used to dock with the space station, and the hatch allows entry into the orbiting complex. The rendezvous antenna is used by the automated docking system, which uses radar to maneuver towards the station for docking, again scheduled 6 hours from launch. There is also a forward-looking window in the module that the crew can use to take manual measurements of distance and closing speed with a laser rangefinder in the event of failure of the rendezvous radar system. That last module in the back is the propulsion module. Houses the oxygen storage tanks, the main engine, the attitude control thrusters, avionics, and communication and control equipment. The propulsion portion of this module handles all orbital maneuvers, including those needed for the rendezvous with the space station and the deorbit burn at the end of the spacecraft's mission. Before they are deployed, the two solar arrays that you see there are folded against the body of the propulsion module, which separates from the descent module after the deorbit burn, along with the orbital module. The solar panels span almost 35 feet. The entire spacecraft serves not only as the crew transport vehicle to and from the station, but also serves as an emergency return vehicle in the event the crew should have to leave the station unexpectedly. Back at a live view of Site 1, the pad Soyuz MS-11, all systems looking go so far, on track for an on-time launch at 5:31 a.m. Central Time.
Negative, negative, everybody waiting for the fall of man, everybody praying for the end of time, everybody hoping they could be the one, I was born to run, I was born for this, run me like a race, hold me like a wrist, break me down and build me up.
A group of NASA representatives is there in Baikonur, ready to watch the launch from just a short distance away from the launch pad. For an update on activities over there, we now go to NASA Public Affairs Officer Rob Navius.
Gary, just 7.5 weeks have passed since that day in October when you were last here. The day of the Soyuz launch abort that denied two crew members a chance to reach the International Space Station and triggered a plethora of replanning by NASA, Roscosmos, and the rest of the international partnership. Today, at the start of what should be a December to remember, a multinational crew is poised to pick up where the last crew left off, returning the station to a 6-person crew capability for the next 17 days as the station program gets back on track. It was 22 below zero Fahrenheit in December 2012 when Chris Hadfield launched into space from here, the last time a Canadian astronaut flew into space. Not as bad today for David St. Jacques, but the temperatures will not hit the freezing mark here in the late afternoon, and it is a frosty day for the start of this 6.5-month mission. A large throng of VIPs and family members are on hand today. NASA represented by Bill Gerstenmaier, the Associate Administrator for Human Exploration Operations, Steve Jerzik, NASA's Associate Administrator, and ISS Program Manager Kirk Shireman. The head of Roscosmos, Dmitry Rogozin, is here. And among the Canadian dignitaries on hand is royalty. Former astronaut Julie Payette is here. Her Excellency, the Right Honorable Julie Payette, the Governor General of Canada, the Vice-Regal Representative of the Canadian Monarch, who is none other than Queen Elizabeth II. Rockets and royalty in the Central Asian desert as we gear up for a crucial launch to the International Space Station. That's it from the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan. Now back to you at Mission Control in Houston.
That was NASA Public Affairs Officer Rob Navius looking at the spacecraft poised on Site 1 of the Baikonur Cosmodrome, ready for launch on time. As he has reported, everything's looking go for an on-time launch at 5:31 a.m. Central Time. Again, a brisk day over there, about 24 degrees Fahrenheit, just under -4 centigrade. We're getting in-cabin views. You're getting a live view of the astronauts inside the Soyuz spacecraft that's now currently on the launch pad at Site 1. Over there on the left side of the screen, you can see in the right seat with the American flag on the left side of her arm is NASA astronaut Anne McClain. Above her is the zero-G indicator, as explained before. The dragon it's a baby dragon chosen by her son, being hugged by a Christmas elf, one of the two zero-G indicators aboard. You can see Oleg Kononenko, the Soyuz commander, flicking some switches as he undergoes the final steps before launch, just about 8 minutes 22 seconds before liftoff today. He'll be the Soyuz commander, and to his left, just off screen, is Canadian Space Agency astronaut David St. Jacques. His zero-G indicator, you can see the zero-G indicator above Anne McClain, the elf with the baby dragon. David St. Jacques' indicator is a raccoon chosen by his family. Getting good calls from Mission Control over in Moscow. Everything's still looking good for an on-time liftoff today. Sun is slowly setting over in Baikonur. The sun set for a sunset at 6:04 p.m. local time there. We'll still be seeing the Soyuz liftoff during the daytime this morning Central Time. Now under 7 minutes 30 seconds from launch. At this time, the gyros and the in-flight readiness and recorders have been activated. We'll be seeing a series of other milestones as we reach the 7-minute mark. This is where the pre-launch operations are complete.
Enter the readiness is 1 minute. Copy all. Everything is nominal on board. We are ready. Everything goes per schedule, and we will be expecting your reports. And please activate video camera that is located near the commander.
Now getting another in-cabin view. David St. Jacques, you can see in the left seat, the 0G indicator toy raccoon above him, chosen by his family. Now under 7 minutes from launch, getting calls that all pre-launch operations are complete, everything looking good so far. At this point in the countdown, the Soyuz's first and second stage engines are ready for launch, and telemetry has been received from the rocket, indicating that all primary and backup systems are ready for launch. At the time of Soyuz launch, the International Space Station will be over central Kazakhstan, southwest of the capital of Astana, at an altitude of 252 statute miles. The space station will be 405 statute miles ahead of the Soyuz. Launch is precisely timed for the moment when the Earth's rotation will place the Baikonur Cosmodrome in the plane of the orbit of the International Space Station. Now 5 minutes, 30 seconds from launch. Again, a series of milestones following the pre-launch operations. The next will be when the launch key to be inserted. This is an actual key.
Combustion chamber nitrogen purge.
At this time, the launch key has been inserted into the launch bucker. Yes, it's a real key. It transitions the launch sequence into automatic mode. Now just 4 minutes, 12 seconds from launch.
Onboard measurement system is activated by Run 2 command.
At this time, the onboard systems have been switched to onboard control. The commander's cockpit displays and controls have been activated, and the crew members are closing their helmets, which puts them on suit oxygen. Now just 3 minutes from launch.
Booster propellant tank pressurization initiated.
At this time, the fuel lines and other elements of the rocket engines are purged with nitrogen to fireproof them by removing the vapors of fuel and oxidizer. The booster tank is now being pressurized for flight. This optimizes the flow of fuel and helps to add structural support to the rocket. Now 2 minutes from launch. Less than 1 minute to launch. There'll be a series of other commands, and then you'll see those umbilical towers. There's two. Start retracting from the Soyuz vehicle prior to launch.
Vehicle to internal power.
Vehicle is now on internal power. You can see the first umbilical tower retracted.
Auto sequence initiated.
Auto sequence is initiated. That second tower now retracting 10 seconds from launch.
Second umbilical tower separates.
Engines have started and are now at the preliminary thrust level, throttling up.
Engines at maximum thrust, liftoff.
And liftoff. We have liftoff of Anne McClain, David St. Jacques, and Oleg Kononenko blasting through the Kazakh sky to the International Space Station.
Copy.
Everything looking good so far. Good first stage performance. Soyuz delivering 930,000 pounds of thrust.
Copy. Everything is fine on board. 30 seconds into flight. All parameters are nominal.
30 seconds in, everything's still looking good. First stage will burn for 2 minutes. First 2 minutes and 6 seconds of the flight.
Vehicle stabilization is steady. Copy. 50 seconds. Chamber pressure is nominal. 60 seconds.
Everything looking good. Vehicle is stable. Good first stage performance. The vehicle now traveling over 1,100 miles per hour.
30 seconds into flight. Everything is nominal. 80 seconds. All parameters are nominal. Copy. Everything is
1 minute 30 seconds into the flight. Everything's still looking good. The stage again will burn for until 1 minute 58 seconds into the flight, and you'll see those 4 strap-on boosters jettison.
100 seconds. Copy. $110 seconds.
Escape tower has been jettisoned, and those 4 strap-on boosters also jettisoned. They've completed their job and will drop away at an altitude of 28 miles.
Confirm.
100. Now transitioning to an animation, you can see from the launch pad losing sight of the Soyuz, but getting good second stage performance.
We're feeling fine, and everything is excellent on board. Copy, and vehicle is stable. 150 seconds into flight.
Second stage, this core stage, still performing well. The launch shroud has been jettisoned, revealing the Soyuz underneath.
Launch shroud jettison confirmed.
This second stage will continue to burn until 4 minutes 43 seconds into the flight.
170 seconds into flight. All systems are operating nominally. Copy.
Everything looking good. This second stage providing somewhere between 178,000 and 222,000 pounds of thrust.
.200 seconds into flight. Second stage thrusters are operating nominally. Copy.
Everything's still looking good. 1 minute left of this second stage. Right in the middle of the animation, you'll see a lattice structure. That will be where the third stage will start to burn, begin a hot staging technique, start burning before the end of the second stage, and actually push that second stage away.
Seconds into flight. Pitch your roll parameters are all nominal. Copy.
Everything's still looking good. About 10 more seconds of this second stage burning.
.280 seconds into flight. Second stage separation confirmed.
And we have confirmation of a good second stage separation. The third stage is lit. Will burn for about 4 minutes and 2 seconds, providing 67,000 pounds of thrust.
200 seconds. 300 seconds. Copy, and we're doing well. 310 seconds into flight. Vehicle is steady.
Five minutes, 30 seconds into the flight. We're in the third stage now. Everything's still looking good.
Seconds into flight. Third stage thrusters are operating nominally.
The third stage will continue to burn until about 8 minutes, 45 seconds into the flight.
– 350 seconds into flight. Everything is nominal. Everything is excellent on board the Soyuz. The crew is doing well.
Good reports from the crew on board. They're feeling well as the third stage continues to burn, now 6 minutes and 15 seconds into the flight.
– 400 seconds into flight. Because pressurization is steady. Copy.
Seven minutes into the flight, everything's still looking good.
– 430 seconds into flight. All thrusters are operating nominally. Copy. And we're feeling well.
Still getting good reports from the crew, feeling well as we're 7 minutes 30 seconds into the flight. The velocity now almost 13,500 miles per hour. Once the third stage delivers the Soyuz to orbit and the module is separated, a series of pre-programmed commands will be executed to prepare the Soyuz for orbital operations. These stored commands, called time-tagged commands, allow many of the Soyuz systems to be automatically activated by onboard computers at precise times stored in those computers. 8 minutes into the flight, everything's still looking good. Again, this third stage burns until 8 minutes 45 seconds.
490 seconds into flight, copy. $500 seconds into flight.
8 minutes 30 seconds into the flight, still looking good. 15 more seconds until third stage cutoff and separation.
520 seconds. Third stage separation is confirmed.
And we have confirmation of third stage separation. Single liquid-fueled engine has shut down and dropped away at an altitude of 126 statute miles.
Copy. Congratulations with the...
Everything's still looking good. The third stage is performing an avoidance maneuver by opening a valve in its liquid oxygen tank.
Thank you very much for your support. Antares, this is Moscow.
And we have confirmation of the spacecraft separation. Soyuz capsule and crew safely in orbit. The spacecraft is automatically executing its pre-programmed commands to deploy the antennas and solar arrays.
Stage separation, and you are go to close RPV-1 and RPV-2 airflow regulators. Copy, it's in work. RPV-1 and 2 valves have been closed, and no issues with the indicator panel. Copy, and please proceed to page 39. Yes, copy, we'll put it in work. And you can carefully start AKG. Monitoring the vehicle section. It has been initiated. Copy. TV activation command send. Copy.